We are going to talk about a very new topic, but before that, let me introduce myself. I am Vinita Sakpal, a senior nutritionist from the Yoga Institute. Today, I'm going to guide you on the weight loss series, which is mindful nutrition for sustainable weight and energy management. Okay, so we are meeting each other since I think 4 weeks, and this is our fifth week. We are understanding a lot of things regarding weight loss, right? And I am sure that you are trying your best to apply all those tips on regular basis, because if you don't try, if you don't apply the knowledge, you will not see any change in your weight, right? So please let me know in the comment section that if you have tried any one or two things or any one or two tasks in your regular lifestyle, and have you seen any some change in yourself. It may be a weight change, it may be a lean mass that has been reducing. You will feel that your clothes are becoming a little loose, or you feel little energetic, you feel little positive, your mood is pretty much good. Okay, Lakshmi ji say I am a new joiner. No worries. Of course, every week, whatever we learn is a new learning. It's something that connects each other, and somehow the revision happens. So no worries, even if you're joining it today. Okay, so before we proceed ahead with today's topic, let me just ask you about the last session, a task that was given to you all. If you all remember, can you just tell me what last week we have learned? Can you just put your answers in a comment section? Good morning, Jagdeep ji. Okay, CH Suresh ji says that you want a type 2 diet. Okay, we will surely talk about that in later Q&A session. At the end, there will be a Q&A session where we will take all your questions in detail. But I would love to see the answers, that whatever the task we are giving you on regular basis, hope you are able to follow it. Okay, so till then your answers come in the screen. Let me just go ahead with our today's topic, which is really very interesting. It is something that everyone is so fascinated about, because proteins are taking a lot of hype in the market. So yes, we are going to learn about proteins and how to understand its portion size. Okay, so importance of proteins and Indian diet, portion control in Indian meals, and some of the myths that we are carrying regarding the proteins that are also going to get burst by the end of the session. So please be excited for the session, because this is really going to help you on regular basis. Plus, the knowledge that today you are going to get is something like eye opening for you all. Okay, so let's proceed ahead with our session. Okay, so why protein or portion control? If I'm emphasizing so much on proteins, why it is so important? Every now and then, who comes in connection with me, or if I see someone talking to each other, or advertisements are majorly focusing on the foods which have proteins, or protein powders and everything that is related to protein. Why? Because you want to lose your weight, you want to manage your weight, you want to build your muscles, you want to become little strength, uh, energetic, everything like that. So because of that, the hype has been little more in the market, and because of this trend, somehow before understanding the proteins, we just end up buying certain products which are rich in protein. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk today, that why this protein has come into so much of highlight. The reason, number one reason is because of the lifestyle disorders that have increased. If you see in the past, maybe before 10 years or so, before COVID, very few people or particular category used to get affected with the lifestyle disorders, like a person who is aged, a person who is who is following some poor lifestyle, or a person who is not exercising properly. They are having certain kind of they used to have certain kind of health issues. But now what has happened is, whether it's a young age, whether it's a middle age, whether it's an elderly age, every person is going through some or the other health issues, right? And why that is so becoming high in the market, the reason is we are becoming very poor with our dietary choices, and we are not looking at our lifestyle the way we should do. Okay, so earlier people used to follow everything at proper time. They used to know what to eat, what not to eat. But the generation to generation, we are forgetting that wisdom. And because of this, lot of stress, lot of poor lifestyle, and everything is happening so badly that somehow we are at the early age, we see people are getting attacks, people are getting diabetes, people are detecting pre-diabetic and whatnot. Vitamin D is so low, B12 is so less, so many things we see into the young age till the elderly age, right? So to control this rising lifestyle disorder, it's very important to understand the nutrients, right? In the last session we have understood there are carbs, there are protein, there are fats, everything is so important. Why today I'm talking about proteins specifically is it has some importance in our body, right? So when you end up in our Indian diet specifically, there are so many varieties of proteins, but somehow we just don't realize it that these other things can be consumed on a regular basis in particular proportion, so that you will be able to meet that daily requirement. Okay, so that is what we are missing with. We are just not understanding why these proteins are so important and why certain amount of proteins are required into each meal. You know, in the last sessions also I have mentioned that every meal should be rightly or well balanced. It should have carbs, it should have proteins, it should have fats, vitamins, minerals, everything. Then and then only you will be able to get your daily requirement. You know, every body, every individual, depend upon its height, age, weight, requires some nutrients on regular basis, on daily basis. But if that is not what we are giving our body sufficiently, then somehow we end up with the deficiencies and inflammation in the body, leading to all lifestyle disease. What are lifestyle disease? Basically the disease that is coming to you gradually if you are putting your lifestyle in a very haphazard manner. Someday you're eating very good, someday you're not eating very good, there is some stress that is developing, no good water intake, no intake of certain food groups. When these all things happens for longer time, you start gaining weight, obesity is hit, then diabetes happens, then someday thyroid happens, someday some deficiencies issue. If there is genetic issue, then that is something that has been seen in your body. So why this is happening? Because we are not being that mindful, not being that aware about what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so even in this protein awareness, sometimes we eat. So the one who is obese, now they must be saying we eat so much of food, then I should meet my protein requirements, right? But no, what type of food you in consuming, how much proportion you're consuming, that is also something which is important. Even if you're eating very less, then also you're going under a deficiency. So eating too much and eating too less is also not good. What we have to find is the moderate, the balance. Then and then only you will be able to meet your requirements. Okay, that's the reason proteins are so important. Okay, now apart from managing your disease, apart from overcoming your deficiencies, it's very important to understand that these not only just fix your weight, or it's not only fix your diseases, it also fix your the the small details that requires on regular basis. For example, you must have seen, since you are working in a corporate or in any of the institute, or maybe going to school, colleges, or being at home also, people do get different amount of energy dips. Sometime morning they are too energetic, by the evening they are super dull, or vice versa. Or sometimes you feel that your too much of mood swings are happening, you feel too much of fatigue and weakness, you feel like I cannot lift certain things, my back is aching, my knees are paining. Why this all is happening? Why there is so sluggish metabolism? It's all because somehow you're not putting up the right amount of the proteins. Okay, so that's how we are going to proceed ahead with. Specifically today we are going to talk about the proteins. So I would like to have the questions that are related to proteins more. Rest, of course, we are going to talk in detail, no doubt about that. But today we are specifically talking about one nutrient, which is the protein. Okay, now let's understand the requirement. Now everyone says ki how much I should eat protein, how I should understand my own protein, why I should always have to go to the healthcare. So number one thing, there is a very general rule about understanding your proteins if you are in a sedentary lifestyle. Now see, there are three sections of lifestyle. One section is the sedentary, who do their daily chores, who go to their work. Their work is super desk job kind of work. Then there is a in sedentary people, it's very minimal muscles are getting used up in daily basis. Okay, even though you are walking, you're running, but still there is very minimal muscle usage. That category is called it sedentary lifestyle. Now for this category, not too much of protein is required. Certain amount of protein is required, which will function, which will make the daily functions pretty easy. And secondly, they should feel energetic even though doing that uh, regular chores, okay, regular work. So sedentary lifestyle should have approximately zero point 0.8 grams of protein, max to max 1 gram of protein per kg body weight. Okay, this is how we calculate. For example, if I am 60 kg weighing, so 60 into 0.8 or 60 into 1. This calculation you can do if you are a sedentary worker where not too many of physical activity you're doing. There is irregularity in exercise, there is irregularity in doing any kind of physical activity, then you are considered into the sedentary lifestyle, and therefore for you zero point 0.8 to 1 is the range. Okay, next category comes the moderate lifestylers. Now, in this moderate lifestylers, they are slightly elevating their physical activity. So, along with the daily chores, along with the daily work style, everything, what is additionally added? Extra exercise, little intense exercise, like going for a gym, doing regular yoga, or going for a Zumba, or some dance class, or skipping, jogging, running. That is happening vigorously on daily basis, consistently, without a break. Okay, when this is happening, they fall into the moderate category, and for them, then they can go little beyond 1 gram. Okay, they can go to 1 to 1.2, depends upon the physical activity. Okay, swimmers and everyone, they are also considered into the moderate activity. So this is how the second category. Third category of lifestyle is the heavyweight or heavy lifestylers, where they end up doing more of intense activity, physical activity. So these are the people are more sports person, they are the one athletes, gymnastics, these are all who are playing for nationals or doing little more or extra intense activity on regular basis. For them, they require more amount of proteins, because that amount of muscles they are using up, right, that amount of energy they are using up, so that replenishment is important. So for them, of course, 1.2 above they will require. But for a general public who is very minimal with their physical activity, who is very irregular with their physical activity, zero point 0.8 to 1 gram is more than enough. Okay, so that's what general rule has been given over there. 0.8 to 1.2 grams protein per kg body weight is sufficient for the daily requirement to meet. Okay, so you analyze yourself, see how your routine is, in which category you fix yourself, and accordingly you can calculate your proteins. Okay, so if I'm considering 1 gram per kg body weight, then for me, if I'm 60 kg, then my 60 grams of protein I should consume. Okay, or in general also, if you see a person who is even unable to calculate or anything, that person should also understand that at least good amount of handful portion of protein should be there into each meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. You should make sure that every meal is having some source of proteins. Okay, that's how you will be able to meet your daily requirement. Number two, already mentioned over there that higher or athlete, elderly, even pregnancy, they require extra protein intake. Okay, so elderly, yes, because they are losing up with their weight, they are losing up with their appetite, so they have some illness by the uh, elderly age, so that time of course the requirement is little higher. And in pregnancy and lactation, of course, because of the baby, the requirement becomes little extra. And another are the sports persons. So these are the categories where little extra amount of proteins are being required, but otherwise for us, zero point 0.8 to 1.2 is more than enough. Okay, fine. Srivatstanji is saying, is micro and macro calculation everyday essential specifically for protein? So let's talk about, so I don't want to tell you that you have to calculate everything. There in life, there should be no math in everything, right? So if you understand initially by calculation that this is the portion which is equivalent for my body is pretty okay with this amount of portion after calculation, then constantly you don't require to calculate your proteins. You automatically will understand that this is the portion size which is sufficient for my body. Okay, so yes, initially it will be a little struggle, but once you get hands on it, then of course you'll be able to follow the pattern, and accordingly you can portion size the proteins. Okay, fine, let's proceed ahead. Okay, so how do you understand that somehow your body, even though you're having proteins on regular basis, still you are in the deficit? How you will understand that? So some signs and symptoms will be seen to you. Majorly, the number one thing you will feel is fatigue and tired and weak. Okay, why this happens? Because somehow your muscle mass is lower than your fat mass. Okay, so if that is happening, then it's the signs that your body will start giving is the first weakness or fatigue. Okay, second thing you will see that your hairs are becoming little brittle, your nails are becoming little brittle, the hair texture is becoming little poor, dry, rough, lot of hair fall. These are the signs where your body is not able to get daily protein. Okay, number 3, you will get frequent infections. So what does this mean? If your proteins are less in your body, your immunity will go down. Okay, why? Because most of the infection related things, for example the cells, the immune cells, are made with the help of the proteins. So if proteins are lacking in your body, then somehow your even your immunity will go down and you will get more prone to infection. So you will see that when there is a seasonal change or where there is a very poor season climate around you, then somehow you will start getting fever, cough, cold, everything. You must have seen in this, at least in Bombay we are seeing that recently, because there is sometimes rain, sometimes sunlight. So because of these climatic change, people are getting a lot of viral fevers. That is all because either their immunity is super low. Why? Because proteins are lacking in their diet. Okay, that is one thing. Lastly is poor recovery after workout. So what happens when you start doing your workout, okay, after a long time, or maybe suddenly you have started the workout, next day itself you will get the muscle soreness, right? If that muscle soreness has been continued for a week and so, then your body is somehow unable to recover those muscles. Okay, so unable to make that muscle more stronger or replenish again with good moisture and glucose. So that's the reason, if there is so longer gap in this recovery of your muscle soreness, somehow you are lacking with proteins. And that's the reason when you do lot of workout, you have to be very cautious that how your proteins you are managing in your meals. Okay, so these are the signs which you have to look for on regular basis. See how you feel. If you feel that your mood swings are happening too much, there is a lot of fatigue, tired, even though you take proper 8 hours of sleep, still you feel tired when you get up in the morning, there is a lot of hair issue, a lot of skin issue, frequent infections, then somehow you are in the protein deficiency. Okay, now next. Okay, now this is the point where we are going to understand that when we talk about protein, first thing that comes in our mind is the protein powder or the protein supplements. And we never think about the food sources. The first thing that comes in our mind is the protein powder, because that's how it has become so fascinated in the market, that when we talk about that I require a protein for my body, we go for the easy and convenient options, right? So let's understand these things step by step. Number one, it is saying, the question is protein powder the only or even the best way to meet daily protein needs? What do you think? What do you think? Is this question right or wrong? What do you think? That if only protein powder is the source to meet your daily requirement, or even a food can help us in meeting our protein requirements. Specifically, I'm asking for the vegetarian ones because they are the one who always says that I am a vegetarian, I am unable to meet my proteins. How can I meet my proteins? So should I add the supplements into my diet? So these are the questions which often we get. So I want to specifically ask the audience that please put your answers. That is the food source insufficient to meet our protein requirement, or we have to completely rely on the protein powders to meet our requirement? Okay, Radha ji says food alone cannot meet protein requirement. Okay. Okay, anyone who think that food alone cannot meet the protein requirement? Please write your answers, because the more you talk with me, more the interaction will happen, more the learning will come, more the new points will be arrived. Okay, it is a challenge for vegetarian or on a regular basis. Okay, Lakshmi ji, I don't think so. Okay, good. I want more participation. I want to see more participation today, because right, very nice direction it's going. Okay, for veg people we are protein deficient. Okay, Radhaji say for active physical exercise people, protein powder is mandatory. Absolutely. As I said, when you intensify your physical activity, you require extra protein intake. That time you require some extra protein from other sources. Okay, commercial sources basically. Okay, now let's conclude this. I say, as a nutritionist, as a clinical dietitian, I say even a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian can meet their protein requirement on daily basis only with the food also, if you are a sedentary lifestyle person. But if you're doing gymming every day, if you're doing a lot of physical activities like jogging, running, intense jogging, intense running, intense brisk walking for longer hours, or swimming, or cyclist, if you're a cyclist, then you requires little more. But if you are a sedentary lifestylers, you are going to office, coming back home, doing your home chores and some physical activity like catching a train or metro or these all things, then you comes under a sedentary lifestyle. So for a sedentary lifestylers, you can meet your daily proteins through your food source. Now how? It is by incorporating right portion sizes of protein sources. Now, tell me in the comment section, according to your knowledge, what are the sources of proteins? Put your answers. Okay, Lakshmi ji, I liked your answer. Definitely can survive with vegetarian food and protein available in our diet. Yes, we can do that. Okay, milk, paneer, more, pulses, more I want. Milk, paneer, chicken, pulses, soy, pulses, dal, paneer, milk, soybean, dry fruits, very good. Eggs, legumes, pulses, soy, fish, okay. Tofu, good. Lentils, yes. Even vegetable have some good amount of protein. Superb. Little amount, but not high source of protein there, but little amount is also present into some of the vegetables. Okay, mushroom, okay, mushroom doesn't have that amount of proteins, but fine. Chicken, okay. So let me list out in a very yeah, broccoli, very nice, Shilpaji. Broccoli also have good amount of proteins. Even leafy vegetables have good amount of protein. Specifically, if I talk about moringa, is one of the good source of protein. Not too good source, but yes, some amount you will get from the vegetables too. Okay, curd, nice. Fish, broccoli, good. So let me just list out in a right manner. Let's start with the veg source. Dals, then comes your legumes, sprouts. So dals are all the split dals or whole dals you can consider. Sprouts, moong sprouts, matki sprouts, chana sprouts. Then legumes are like chole, rajma, lobia. Then whole masoor. These are all legumes. Then comes to a dairy products like paneer, milk, curd. Again, the source should be authentic. Then after this, you can have from your soy, tofu. temp. These are all good soy products. And then comes the non-veg source like eggs, chicken, fish. These are the better sources of the proteins. And then comes the vegetable and nuts and seeds. So green leafy vegetables, then there is broccoli, there is green peas, which have little amount of proteins, and another is the nuts and seeds. So almonds, walnuts do have little amount of proteins. And also 2 to 3 grams of protein you will get from the whole grains like whole wheat, ragi, jawar, bajra, oats, dalia. These also have little amount of quinoa, good amount of proteins. 6 grams of proteins you will get, approximately 6 to 7 grams of protein you will get from the quinoa. It's a complete protein. So yeah, even microgreens do have, but not that amount of protein, but yes, you can incorporate. It's good fiber. Apart from these all, I mean, these all are the bigger chunk where you will get good source of proteins. Okay. Idli is made of rice and dal. So again, you will get some good protein from there because dal is contributing good proteins. Idli ka rice is contributing some amount of proteins. If you're clubbing that with sambar, again you are getting with a dal sambar good amount of protein. So it's a good complete wholesome meal. Okay, so that's how, if you know the sources and you add each source into each meal, breakfast, lunch, snacks, dinner, then you will be able to meet your daily requirement. For example, if it's a 55 grams of a protein you require per day, make sure 2 portion sizes of proteins are present into each source. Make sure 15 grams to 20 grams are present into your each major meals. So that's how you'll be able to meet your proteins. The only thing we are lacking behind is we don't know the source, and in each source how much protein is present. So of course for that some nutrition knowledge is something which is required, which comes with a lot of research, taking help from the healthcare professionals. Yes, and that's how you'll be able to understand in which food how much is present. But approximately, if I give you an idea, from dals, legumes, and pulses, you get 7 grams of proteins. Please note this down. It's a very important point for you all. From dals, lentils, legumes, sprouts, here you will get approximately 7 grams of protein in 30 grams of that dal. If you weigh 30 grams of that dal or legumes or lentil, you will get approximately 7 grams of proteins. Note it down. Okay. From dairy product, specifically if we talk about curd and milk, you will get approximately 4 grams of proteins, okay, into 100 grams or 100 ml. Okay. And if you go to paneer, very good, Vaishnavi ji. If you go to paneer, then over there for 100 grams, approximately, now this depends on brand to brand also, approximately 15 grams to 18 grams of protein, okay, for 100 grams of paneer. If you go to soy, even soy is similar. For 30 grams, you will get approximately 12 to 15 grams of proteins, okay. Then your non-veg source. Non-veg source are always a good amount of protein because they are complete proteins. So fish, chicken, for 100 grams, you will get approximately 18 to 20 grams of protein. For eggs, if you take 2 eggs, then you will get 14 grams of protein. Okay. So of course, the amount which I have given you is a generalized average protein amount I'm telling you. Of course, every product you buy, the reality has been written at the behind. Always read the labels to understand how much protein is there. Okay, so this is what you can do. Okay, let's proceed ahead. As I said, from food source also we can surely meet our requirement. Number 2, whole foods first. As I said now recently that everything cannot be taken from commercial and cannot be from the purchased products. You will get your protein from the whole foods. So try to opt more from the real food, which is very, very less processed. So as you say, if I'm seeing Naveen ji who is saying how good are cornflakes and muesli, not at all good. Not at all good. They are processed. They are using some hidden oils. high sodium, hidden sugars, so much of things which are highly processed, so they are not at all good. So try to consume healthy breakfast, homemade recipes. Best to get your immunity better to eat homemade recipes instead of having outside commercial products. Okay. Okay, next point, I'm talking about the protein powders. Now, protein powders are not mandatory to everyone. It is complete and optional thing. If you think that your lifestyle is super busy, cannot make foods, uh, even after trying so much you're not meeting up with your proteins, then and then only under a healthcare professional or from a proper trainer you take a suggestion that you require a protein powder or not, because to meet or to use that protein powders you require to use your muscles. If you do some physical activity or if you're super weak, you're malnourished, then and then only the protein powders are being prescribed. Or if there is a certain condition or a situation like pregnancy and lactating, there if you require some extra protein which you are unable to meet through your food, then we can think about the protein powders. Otherwise, it is all about convenience. It is all about the person who feel that it's more portable to carry, easy to carry and consume. For them, they can have this protein powder. So I'm not saying that protein powders are bad. Protein powders are also good. The only thing is you have to analyze the product which you're purchasing. Is it a clean protein powder? Okay, so in the commercial protein powders there are a lot of fillers that are added along with the protein powders. So protein powder is nothing but a whey part of the milk. Okay, it's a very clean and easy to digest part of the milk which has been added into the protein powder. There are of course plant-based proteins also. So yes, any of the one if you can put, if you want to purchase, always read the label. See, in a complete protein powder, there should be maximum amount of the actual proteins, with the sources of the proteins where you're getting from. And if they're adding any sweetener, the sweetener should be the natural sweeteners, like a monk fruit or a dates, a raisin, something like that, and not like sugars or sugar alcohols or some sweeteners. Then that is something which is not good for your body. If they're adding preservatives, if they're adding some anti-caking, anti-foaming, stabilizers, emulsifiers into the protein powders, then somehow that protein powder is not a right type of protein powder for your body. Always, the less the ingredients mentioned in the product, more better or healthy that product is. Okay, so that's how you should always look for. See, the sodium is not crossing 140 mg in that protein powder per scoop, then that product is somehow good. Added sugar is always should be zero. This is how you can analyze the protein powder. Okay, so yeah, so it's a complete optional thing. It's not mandatory that everyone should consume protein powder. It's completely upon your lifestyle, your opinions, your convenience, your easy to go kind of things. So that's how you can incorporate this powders. Okay, fine. Now let's proceed ahead with the next section of our protein, which we have already discussed about the protein sources. So I'm not going more detail over here. We already know there are good amount of protein sources which we can incorporate into our daily diet. Okay, only the goal should be that each meal should have protein. Somehow you will, if you know that every meal is having sufficient amount of proteins compared to your carbs, you will experience good weight loss and good muscle gain. Okay, so now sometimes you will experience a scenario where after doing good amount of workout, after having good amount of proteins, your weight loss has been stuck. Okay, so sometime if you have a body composition machine or something, if you think that your weight has been stuck for longer time but you still feel more energetic, more strengthful, then it means your muscles are getting gained. So when muscles are gaining, your muscles are giving you some weight, right? That's the reason your weight is being same. But how you should understand that there is a fat loss when you start seeing that your clothes are pretty loose, you're losing your inches, that means that's your fat loss. And you're gaining muscles, that's the reason the weighing scale is showing you the same or a little deviations into your weight. Okay, this is also one of the tricky thing to understand whether you're going at a good muscle gain or not. Okay, Fine. Now let's understand a smart protein planning for your meals. Okay, Radhaji is saying what it is right time to take protein immediately after gym, yoga, or brisk walk. Yes, yes. So when you do any physical activity, within 30 minutes you can have any of the protein source. Max 1 hour ke pehle. 30 minutes to 1 hour is the bracket where you can have the protein source after your physical activity, intense physical activity. Okay, so that your muscles are getting retained. Okay. Okay. So what we are going to understand now is we are going to add proteins into our every meal, right? And usually what happens, we only focus on proteins after doing some workout. So I've done the workout, now I have to take the protein source, or in the dinner I should take the protein source. So that should not happen. First of all, every meal there should be a one portion of protein rich source. That's how you're going to meet your proteins. Secondly, combine certain products together so that you get the complete proteins. Now, what do you mean by this complete proteins? So now in specifically veg sources, few grains or few food products have limited types of amino acids. Now, what are amino acids? Amino acids are the chain which connects with each other and form a protein. So it's like a baby of the protein, it's like a smallest unit of the protein. So proteins are made from the amino acids. Okay, so there are n number of amino acids. So now this amino acids are present, some into cereals and some into pulses. Now if any one is missing from each other, when you combine together you get a complete amount of proteins. That's the reason the cereal and pulse should always be mixed together. So why these idlis, why dal chawal, why these all have been invented by our ancestors? Because there's a science behind it, there's something, some wisdom is behind it. What is it? That since we are not meeting complete proteins from these sources, we club them and make recipes. So what are the common recipes of cereal pulses? Please put your answers into your comments. Very few dal chawal, then comes the idli, because in idli we add rice and urad dal or some other dal, right? So this is a good combination of amino acids to get completely to your body. So if I talk a little more technically, there is this lysine and methionine, two names of amino acid which are absent into one of the cereals and pulses, and therefore to get this lysine and methionine for our body, we mix them together to get the complete amino acids which are the source of proteins. Okay, dal chawal, rajma chawal, kadhi chawal, very good combination. Can you recommend best protein powder for 45 plus male? Okay, I cannot recommend as it is to you because I don't know your history, I don't know your lifestyle, I don't know what you're consuming on regular basis, I don't know how intense physical activity you're doing. So that's the reason anything cannot, you cannot believe in one go. So this, see, when you want to take the recommendation from anybody, make sure you take from the person who is taken some degree into that. For example, a healthcare professional, a nutritionist, a clinical dietitian, or a doctor. Because if you just randomly go and take certain things, you don't know your body is going to suit that thing or not. Until and unless a professional who will look at your complete history and then analyze your complete intake and everything, then and then only the right type of protein powder will be suggested to you. Okay, but for now, try to focus on your food source instead of food powders. For now, just try to put all the protein sources into your each meal. Okay, yeah, chole chawal, very good. Chole chawal is one of the good combination. Then which is the best protein powder available in the market? Of course I'll not do branding. I'll just make I'll give you a task. I want this answer in the next session. You have to check all the protein brands which are available in India, in our market, which are pretty common nowadays, and read its label. I have mentioned what all things you should look for. Try to look those things, and then you give me your answer that which are the best products to be consumed. Okay? Let's do this one task, because until unless you don't do the research, you will not gain the knowledge. Okay? So Application is more important. Whatever the information I'm giving you, try to apply. Then and then only you'll be able to be more excited to do certain things into your life. Okay, otherwise it will be like, information mil rahi, I'm doing it and I'll try my best. No, it cannot happen like that. It should be always, when you take some knowledge, apply by your own self, take some understanding. If you're not understanding, come to us, put your questions. That's how I'll be able to help you more. Okay, we'll do this one small thing. Okay. Next, the third part is 1/4 section of your plate should be protein. Okay, 1/4 section. So what do you mean by that? If you remember the thali system, which I have talked in the last session, each thali should be divided into 3 sections. 1/4 section is your carbs, 1/4 section is your protein, and half your thali should be filled with good amount of fibers, which are vegetables, right? So when you add this consciously 25% of protein into your diet, somehow you will start getting your daily requirement. And this 25% will get increased if you start intensifying your exercise. Okay? But for now, if you are sedentary work lifestyler, then it's better to incorporate 25% of your plate with proteins. So these 3 things, just try to incorporate consciously. You will see a good change in yourself, not only physically but even mentally. You will be more happy. Your emotions will be under control. You will be more energetic. You will be more productive in your work. Automatically you will feel a little different when you add proteins into your meals, specifically in your breakfast. Okay. Okay, there is one question, ma'am. One thing I wanted to know, you can answer this in Q&A section as well. Do we need to diet with ketosis? Do intermittent fasting, or are they like fad and unsustainable diets? Okay. No. So, okay, so you're talking about the keto diet and IF, right? So first of all, keto diet was designed for, I'll just give you the quick answer for this. Keto diet was designed for the epilepsy people, because for them, low carbs was something which is required to heal their body. Okay. Now, the people who are weighing very high, like they are in the stage 3 obesity, who are weighing beyond 100, for them, only with the diet, it becomes very difficult to, reduce their weight. So for them, they are being put into low carb diet initially, but gradually they are bringing them on back on the normal diet. So this is a series that need to be maintained pretty well. Then and then only there will be a good sustainable weight loss for the people who are in a very higher weight, like stage 3 obesity. But a person who is overweight or even a stage 1 obesity, they don't require keto diet or going into a ketosis. Okay, it's really unhealthy and very difficult to follow pattern, because we are changing our regular biological system into something different inside our body. Okay, our body works on glucose regularly, but in ketosis, in the keto diet, we are making our body run on ketones, which is somehow not good. But this is only recommended to the person who is having epilepsy or they are in the stage 3 obesity. Okay, so if we talk about intermittent fasting, it is good to do intermittent fasting, but the only thing is, uh, we say according to Ayurveda, we have different doshas like vata, pitta, kapha, and depending upon the doshas, the fasting windows changes. So you need to first analyze that you are into which dosha, or in which combination of those, and accordingly the Ayurvedic doctor will be able to prescribe you that you should do 12 hours fasting or 14 hours or 16 hours. Okay, a pitta person should always go for 12-hour fasting, a vata person can go for 14, and kapha can go for 16 hours. So this is how the combinations are. Okay, now let's come to the last slide of our today's topic, is common myths about proteins. Okay, so we say that if we take too much of proteins, our kidneys get harmed or they are damaged. So let me tell you over here, this scenario is only for the person who is already having some existing kidney issue. For them, we cannot give them high protein diets, and that's how this has been relevant. Otherwise, if you take regular amount of proteins, sufficient amount of proteins on regular basis, with good hydration, good amount of water intake, and physical activity, then you will have no issues with your kidneys. Okay. Number 2, always read the labels, because in labels reality has been mentioned. Even though the front page or front posture of that product has been mentioned that it's high in protein, high in fiber, always check the reality is written always at the behind. Okay. If it's good amount of proteins, 10 grams, 20 grams, whatever it is, how clean is the product, from where all the sources are coming, always read the label. Then and then only you'll be able to identify that you are having good amount of proteins. Next, slow down on chewing and savor the food, because if you are mindful, if you are completely aware about what you're eating, how much you're eating, and slowly if you're consuming, your brain will be able to register that this is a time now you have to stop eating. The fullness which you want, that feeling of that fullness, that satisfaction, that will only happen when your brain gets signals after 20 minutes, because 20 minutes your brain takes to register that you are full. So if within 20 minutes you are finishing up with your meals, then somehow you will end up overeating. So that's the reason you should always eat your meals very slowly, chew each and every food particle, because the grinding should be done in your mouth itself. The teeth is meant to grind your food. Your stomach is not meant to grind your food. Your stomach is meant to just mix, churn, make it into juice and put it ahead for the further absorption, right? So all the chewing part, all the grinding part should be done in your mouth itself. That's how you will see that your weight loss is happening pretty well. Okay. Next, protein is only for gym goers. Is this true? No, it's not true. Even a person who is doing some moderate activity can also have proteins. A person who is diabetic and unable to meet the protein source, if a person is having some cancer issue, a person who's pregnant, who is lactating, or elderly who is having poor appetite, for them this protein powders are somehow essential. A person who is in ICU, they have to undergo with Ryle tubes, then they have to have protein source, protein powders as their food, right? So of course, situation to situation, what body is dealing with, how individual is doing certain physical activity decides the protein powder. But a person who is doing no exercise and having completely sedentary lifestyle, for them food is the good source. Okay. Fine. So this was all about today, that we learned about the proteins, how much to consume, how to identify how much is required for your body. Make sure each meal is having, each thali is having good amount of proteins daily. I'm talking about not only one day, every day. Consciously have to make an effort to see that your proteins are present into your meals or not. And lastly, make sure whatever the meal you are consuming, you have to share that with us. Okay. So on our social media platform Times Health Plus, please make your own thali, highlight the protein section, and please share it on our social media platform, because that's how you'll understand that you're really able to apply, and what hurdles, what obstacles you're facing while doing this all task. That is also something we will be able to understand, and we'll be able to help you more in detail. Okay. So please follow this task, because when you do task, then and then only you'll be able to start applying the knowledge. Okay. And then you will start seeing that, okay, this is how you have to go ahead with your meal patterns. This is how you understand your portion size. And on daily basis, knowingly, unknowingly, you will consciously or subconsciously, the protein will just pop up in your head that I have to see that whether my meals is having good amount of proteins or not. Okay. So this is a task which you have to do. Do not forget to follow us on our social media platform, which is Times Health Plus, Instagram and YouTube. And in the next session, what we are going to learn, let me just tell you in a short, so that we start with our Q&A session. Very interesting point or topic we are going to discuss in the next session is about your gut. Every individual is going with a compromised gut, right? So we are going to understand what is gut, how to heal your gut, what are the things you should incorporate to make your gut better. So very interesting session is going to be in the next session. So I want everyone to be there. No newcomers. I want more people who just keep following this sessions on regular basis every Saturday to Saturday, so that you'll be able to make your weight better. Okay. Okay, now let's proceed with the Q&A session. You can start putting up your questions on comment section and I'll answer it accordingly. Okay. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi ji. Janisha say, is it applicable for someone who has one kidney? Absolutely. If anybody is having one kidney, for them, of course, high protein diet is not suggested. For them, the modification has been done accordingly. Okay. Thank you so much, Srivastan. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Any questions regarding proteins today? We have good 5 minutes. We can discuss it. Anything that is related to your daily intake, anything you want to know about the sources. Okay, what is the best way and time to consume chia seeds? Chia seeds can be consumed in the mid meals, like around 11ish or 4 o'clock. Or what you can do is, if you carry a 1 liter bottle along with you, just add 1 teaspoon of chia seeds into it, let it soak very nicely, and finish that 1 liter in a day. So you will get good amount of chia in a day. Okay. Thank you, Lakshmi ji. Thank you so much. Okay, Paramjeet ji say, is there a specific diet needed to be followed for menopause? Yes, specific diet as in you have to make sure proteins are sufficient into your diet. No spicy food should be consumed. Make sure you are hydrating yourself pretty well so that your heat has been reduced. And estrogen promoting foods you should consume. So seeds, nuts, these are all good sources which you can add into your diet. Okay, is paneer an option for high TG or high LDL? Okay, so there is low paneer option also if you want to incorporate paneer into your diet, because most of the paneer which we get in the market are the malai paneer. There are low fat paneer also available in the market. Please do the research and accordingly you can have that. Best thing is make your own paneer at home. There will be no adulteration, and the paneer should be made from the cow milk, not the buffalo milk, because cow milk has less fat. So that's how it will be much better. And make sure the paneer is not too much into your diet. Twice or thrice a week is more than enough. I would say twice a week is also more than enough. Okay, I am okay. The questions are going up. Is detox water good? Yeah, it is good. It helps to just clean your toxins and clean your body, but just don't rely on detox water. It's just one of the addition to your daily intake. You can have it, no worries. Thanks for the session. What about having milk, having at night? Is it unhealthy? If my body is okay, then can I continue? Okay, so milk is heavy to digest and pitta prakriti, and therefore it should be consumed in the daytime, because in the daytime, our digestive agni is at peak. By the end of the day, after sunset, the metabolism becomes very slow and sluggish. So if you want to have milk, have it before sun sets, preferably in the daytime, and add some herbs and spices into it for the better digestion, like turmeric, black pepper, elaichi, cardamom. So these are all you can add into the milk and have it. Okay. Large intake of protein can be harmful. It is said it is excess excreted naturally, or is it assimilated and harmful? If so, what's the safe limit? As I said, Jagdeep ji, safe limits depends upon your height and weight. Okay, so whatever is your height, accordingly you have to depending upon your lifestyle also. If it's a sedentary lifestyle, 0.8 to 1 gram is sufficient for you. You have to calculate that. If you are moderate, then the amount will be a little higher. If the physical exercise is higher, then you are in the moderate section. Then the amount will be 1 gram to 1.1 gram. Okay, and if you're more than that, like athlete and sport person, then of course 1.2 or more is required. But when you take your height is 6 and 105 is your weight. So if it's a height is 6, can you just calculate in the centimeters? 6 feet को centimeters में convert करके बता दो. Okay, I am overweight, but my hair is brittle and suffer from the hair fall, muscle pain, and soreness. Am I protein deficient? How to check? Yes, you are protein deficient because everything is brittle. Your hair is brittle, you are having a lot of hair fall, muscle pain is there, soreness is there. You are lacking with the proteins. No need to check. This is the signs which your bodies are giving you. Start incorporating proteins. Automatically, within a week, you will feel much better. Okay, 180 centimeter. It means 80 grams is your 80 kgs is your weight, ideal weight. So usually 80 into 1 gram, if you do, you get 80 grams of protein per day. So for now, at least start with 70 to 80 grams of protein per day. Then gradually you can increase if required, if you intensify your physical activity. Okay. Okay, please suggest food for iron. There are many foods for iron. There is halim seeds, garden cress seeds, sesame, spinach, beet, quinoa, methi leaves, methi seeds. These are good source of iron. Dates, raisins, good source of iron. Okay, is multigrain malt powder good source of protein? Not so much good source of protein. Some amount you will surely get, but not high amount. But if you are incorporating it with other protein sources, like each meal is having good sources of proteins, then somehow this is good to incorporate in a one time a day. Okay, thank you so much, man. Thank you. Is sattu a good source of protein for daily consumption? Yes, it's a good source of daily consumption because it's again made from the chana. Okay, it's made from the roasted chana. The sattu is made from the roasted chana, and chana is a good source of protein. You will get approximately 7 grams of protein from 30 grams of sattu. So you can add into a water like a drink. You can make a paratha or a tikki, anything you can make out of sattu. Okay. Okay, make sure whatever you're consuming, please keep variety. If every day you have just one source, somehow it will get used to by your body. Your body will become monotone with that food, and your body will not give you good results. So, variety is important. What about dry fruits consumption quantity? Any requirement? 15 grams of total dry fruits can be consumed, not more than that. 15 grams is sufficient per day, but it should have variety. If you are on an aim of weight loss, avoid the fatty nuts, for example kaju and pista. Cashew and pistachios are something which are fatty, so for now just stop that, but rest all you can consume. Total is 15 grams. And nachni sattu, ragi sattu and nachni sattu is good, but doesn't have that amount of proteins which you will get from the sattu, the chana sattu. But yes, you can incorporate this also in between your meals, no problem. Okay, any more questions? Is Amway protein is good? Suggest protein powders. Not at all. Amway protein is, sorry, I cannot just do branding thing and I cannot take names of brands, but I'll just tell you, if you have the Amway protein, please look at the label and give your understanding about it in the next class. I would really love to get your inputs from that. Okay, your homework. Okay, Vasudha ji. Okay, next is Jagdeep ji. Millets are called superfoods. Can you expand on that? Yeah, so superfood is basically, the concept is you get the good amount of micronutrients from those sources, or flavonoids or polyestrogens, phytoestrogen. These all things you get from the this superfoods. So why millets are said to be a superfood? The reason is compared to wheat and rice, the polished ones, in this millets there is extra amount of B vitamins, there is extra amount of fibers which are required for your body, so that there is no spike in your insulin leading to early hunger pangs. Okay, so that's the reason millets are somehow called as superfoods, and you can incorporate on your daily basis. I would suggest it's a really best thing to incorporate millets on daily basis, but the variety is important. Again, season to season things changes. Bajra is meant for winters, so keep bajra into winters, but jawar is cooling for your body, so you can keep in your summers. Okay, this is how you can balance. Okay, tell me the brand names to do homework. Okay, so I'll give you few names. Check with Tata Pro Fit, check with Amway products, check with whole 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 truth foods, then check with well-being nutrition, then there is Oziva. There are many emerging brands. Any you just take and you do research on it, you will get good idea, good insights from each one of them. Okay. Okay. What about fox nuts? Very good amount, good source of fiber. It's also a good millet. Fox nuts also you can add into your routine, no problem. Again, they are not a protein source. Of course, they will have some amount of protein, maybe 3 grams or 4 grams and 30 grams, but you should add these all millets. Okay. Thanks for the comprehensive reply. Thank you, Jagdeep ji. Thank you, Lakshmi ji. Thank you, Suresh ji. Very good inputs I'm getting from your sides also with your questions. And I think I'm able to help each and every one. Last question I'm taking, Vinod ji. Is the protein requirement with reference to weight or body mass index? So, ideally, weight, your height and your weight is something which is important, and BMI is what taken from the height and weight. But we cannot just say कि BMI is the right indicator or the important indicator. There are many other factors also. So even if I said you now कि आपका height check करके we have to see how much proteins you should take or your sedentary life. Apart from that, even the health issues or something need to be checked. So the requirement will of course be little more flexible with your other health issues also, but for that I need to know exactly how your lifestyle is, what are health issues you're going through, and accordingly I can help you. Okay, so when if you feel that you require a help from a nutritionist or a dietitian, you can always connect to us. We are not going anywhere. If not us, go and ask some other nutritionist and clinical dietitian, because they will really make you able to understand how to identify the protein, how to put each protein into your sections, each meals, and how to hydrate your body, how to make your lifestyle better. Because only diet is not one part. Along with diet, emotion, stress, sleep, water, physical exercise, everything is important. That holistic approach you should give to your body. Then and then only your weight loss will be much, much better. Okay, fine. I don't know, Jagdeep ji, foxnuts ko kya kehte hain in local language. You can do little research on Google. Okay. Okay. For now, thank you so much for today's session. I hope that today's session was more informative for you all, and you will be able to apply what we have learned today. So please do not forget to do the task that has been given to you and post it on our social media platform. Till then, eat with awareness and take care. Namaste.